Are we on now?
Does that mean we're on?
Yeah, so we have to be nice to each other.
You got hair all over your back.
Shouldn't you got the hair off my back before we started?
Probably.
Hey, people. It's us again.
Just see if anyone's there. Hang on.
It doesn't. No one's here.
How do I go to it on here?
I don't know, but we'll find out. No, someone will tell us.
You need to help me out with it. I don't know how we did it last week.
I think Cutter gave us the link or something.
Videos. You know, I can't find it on here. Is there anyone there? One viewer. Hello, one viewer.
You'd think after a week we would have worked this out. But anyway.
We can only work it out once we're live. That's the problem.
Yeah. Carteret, if you're there, what's the link to view the thing? We're on the YouTube channel and it...
2 viewers. Hello, whoever you are. Hang on. What's that?
Links. Maybe the link.
Well, where's your controller, Dale?
Jump on the live stream and help us out with your Facebook. Okay. YouTube page, video embed. I reckon there's that one maybe. We'll try that.
But it might. I don't know what you're doing. Bear with us, people. We're just trying to work out how to see your comments.
This is like last time.
But I don't know how we did it last
Anyway.
week. How did we do it last week?
So what are we going to talk about this week, Lisa? So...
No, that's not how.
Oh, honey. Screen share, no, chat. There we go. But this is what we did last.
No, that didn't. That's not how it is either. Is it? Did you just go offline?
No. No, that's not it. Anyway, so.
If you've got any questions or if you want to say hello, that way we can see if your comments come up.
Yeah. This is working really well, isn't it?
I just went to this screen last time.
Go to the videos.
I am in videos. So.
Well, go to play. Anyway, so.
You just start talking, I'll play around with this.
Yeah, that'll be right. So, welcome along. We're bound to get the hang of this at some point. I'm Darren, this is Lisa. For those of you that haven't met us.
Hello.
We're good at this, you can tell. We thought, what are we going to talk about? We thought we'd talk about sort of the legal issues of tiny houses.
As he pours the drink.
Yeah, as in, are you allowed to build them? Can you insure them? Can you finance them? Can you legally take them on the road? If so, what are the restrictions you've got regarding trailers, etc.?
To list all available commands, enter. So enter.
Live now. Click on live now.
Oh, there we go.
No, Carteret's doing
Thank
something.
you, Cart. Hang on. Oh, yes.
Just hit the mute button there.
Yeah, mute.
Live chat. There we go. Right, we got...
Oh, he just commented on the Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
Group.
There we go. Here you go, honey.
Okay, I found it.
All right, at least we can see if anyone's...
That's it, but it's telling you to hit those commands to do it. So what happens if you do that?
Anyway, cheers. Welcome to episode 2.
Episode 2. We'll get the hang of these people.
Right about episode 17.
Hi, Cart.
Hey, Cart, how you doing? We know Cart's there.
The nasty bastard.
Yes. For the rest of you, hello. So, yeah, we thought we'd talk about the sort of the legal side of things because it's something that keeps coming up in terms of get asked.
Oh, he's right.
What?
He sent the link here for us. Thank you. I don't know why it doesn't work on our end, but anyway.
Because you can, I think, because you can only get the link. Go back to YouTube.
Yeah. Well.
So once it's live, I think you can only get. I think there's that link up the top there.
Okay.
I think that's how we do it. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, if people Nasty Bastards there, Helen.
Hi.
Hey, Helen.
Hello, Helen.
Is Winston there? If so, hey, Winston. If not, hello, Helen.
So we don't need to look at this screen. We can look at that one.
Oh, yeah, we got like 3 screens now. We're getting the hang of it. We've got the TV connected up behind so we can see what's going on. So, yeah. Hey, Helen. Yeah, so one of the common questions that probably the number one question that we get asked all the time is it legal? Can you live in a tiny house in Australia?
Well, it's not deemed illegal. There's no law to say it's legal.
Well, it's a caravan at the end of the day. It's a self-built caravan. And for those of you that don't know, Andrew and Lara, the guys behind the tiny house company in Brisbane, they had an issue probably, 6 months or so ago. The neighbours complained. Now, they're in their beautiful, stunning tiny house that they built.
We discussed that last week.
Did we?
Yep.
Maybe not everyone was there. This is one of the legal issues, though. So the neighbours complained, in a nutshell, the neighbours complained, said there was an illegal development going on, and Andrew and Lara actually got a consulting company who was willing to work for them pro bono, who got the whole and understands the whole tiny house movement, and said, we'll represent you for free and help put a case to the council, from what I understand. And so the council looked into it and they said, well, firstly, it's a caravan. It's a very nice caravan, but it's a caravan. It's on wheels. It's a self-built caravan. And as it happens, in their council region, and I'm not sure what part of Brisbane, but they're in suburban Brisbane. And in suburban Brisbane, as it happens, you are allowed to live full-time. So someone who's not related to you is allowed to live permanently in a caravan in the backyard of an existing property. And so that was their case that they put forward. The council realised it is a caravan. They looked at, is it an eyesore? No, it's not. It's a stunning little tiny house. And they looked at how they handled their human waste and what they were doing with their grey water and black water, and they were quite happy and they were allowed to stay.
I'm just going to interject when people pop up. So Leonie says hello. So hello, Leonie. Thanks for joining us again.
Helen says, Winston's not having work yet, but nice to see we're getting more tech organised this week. By about like episode 9, we should have it working out. Anyway.
We'll have our topics covered. We'll have guests coming on covered.
That's it. Lindy Lee Scott is back again. Hey, guys. She's listening, but she's going to drive home.
That's fine.
She's got us on mobile. Just focus on the driving, dear. Don't just listen. Don't watch. Just drive. And let us know when you get home safely. Yeah. So in terms of the big question, can you live in a tiny house legally? The answer is kind of.
Are we lagging, guys? It looks like we're lagging on our end.
So much for this, like, best webcam on the planet you can buy, because it's. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Cart says Brisbane City Council are looking at many new housing options. Very progressive council. Good.
That's good. We know that they are in WA.
Yeah.
I think we need to get our act together here in Victoria and see what we can get going here.
Well, there's 2 schools of thought. There's, do we approach the local council and say, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and please, sir, can we do it? And that's, as I've said to people for months, that is possibly a can of worms that you may not want to open, depending on your council.
It sounds like it's positive so far. I haven't heard anything negative, so. But it could just be those states, whereas Victoria is a real nanny state, unfortunately. Yeah. So
I would be. Apparently, there's laws that have been changed in New South Wales. I believe in New South Wales, it is now legal to have a non-related person live in a granny flat in the backyard of an existing property. Not yet, obviously not yet. Tiny houses on wheels. But what I'm trying to do is because in the last week we've spoken to several people, and we want to interview. There's a number of people I want to interview, and one of them is the key people that were involved in the decision in Fresno, California, because in Fresno, California, tiny houses on wheels, trailer, are now legally allowed to be put in backyards of existing houses and as granny flats and rented out to non-related people, which is the golden nugget.
If you see me giggling, it's just because I can see the conversation happening online, and yeah, Victorian councils are bastards, so Helen says.
Yeah. So this might be a dumbass question, but I'm assuming all you guys can see each other's comments there because...
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the video's posted to YouTube after it's all finished.
Yeah, all these live comments disappear.
Yeah, we notice that the live comments disappear, and only those who jump on afterwards, their comments remain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can say whatever you like, people. What gets spoken here stays here. Yeah. So yeah, that's New South Wales. Victoria, apparently, from a legal standpoint, I believe that the laws haven't yet changed, and you need to be a dependent, like related person in a care situation for it to be legal in a granny flat. But let's face it, how many people are doing that illegally? And
yeah, there's heaps, and not just granny flats, but caravans all over the place. We did it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people, renting out rooms and garden sheds to backpackers and overseas students. That's dangerous, and I don't have any time for that. But in terms of, is it legal for people like us when we were living in our vintage caravan in Murrumbina? That wasn't legal, but we did it. Were we hurting anyone? No.
What would the fine be, I wonder?
I don't know. They'd have to prove that someone's living there.
Or do they just simply ask you to go and move along?
But they'd have to prove that someone's living there. And if they knocked on the door, we could say, yeah, we're renovating the caravan. We're having a late night Friday night drink discussing what we're going to do with the walls.
This is why whenever we discuss it, we always say, look, it's a grey area. They're classed as caravans, and it depends on what area you live in, what state you live in, what your local council deems legal or illegal.
So the first step I would say is make anonymous phone calls.
Yeah, anonymous phone calls are the best, and you can sort of see where you stand,
and
then make that informed decision whether you want to risk going ahead or just not bothering.
Yeah, and as Helen said, there's people all around in caravans, granny flats all over the place. When I was with my wife, we bought a house in Glenroy, for those of you that know Melbourne, and it was a little white weatherboard cottage. What's white? Anyway, that's a side note. And it had a little granny flat in the back and a little bungalow, and we rented that out for years, overseas students and things. And in fact, here I almost said the name of the town we're in. Here in our undisclosed location in the Macedon Ranges, we went down the local cafe.
Same here, Leonie. So bring it on.
And we went down the local cafe. And then we went down to the...
Leonie's just saying, I'm looking forward to a council fight.
Yeah.
I know I'm that type of person too. Yeah. I'm happy to go all the way and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, we went to this cafe in Kyneton. Yeah, I said it, Kyneton.
I think they know by now.
Yeah. So we went to this cafe. I thought there was only one main street in Kyneton. Here's a bit of a laugh for you. And after we've been here about 3 months, I discovered there was a whole other main part of Kyneton. I didn't even know it existed. I went down the
tourist side of it.
I looked down I went around the corner. I thought there's a whole other street here, like a whole other main road. Anyway, we checked it out one day and went to a cafe, and I was going to the bathroom and I could see this sort of lattice fence, and there was a caravan outside. Plugged in outside the kitchen, an orange cord going up through the kitchen window.
Even just going for a walk, there's caravans dotted along and they're all plugged in. Some right up the front fence.
Yeah.
It's like, so
there's an old 70s place down the road with a single garage. The driveway's all covered in weeds and sort of.
But even though it is plugged in, it's not. I mean, ours is plugged in and no one's living in it. We've just got it plugged in for when my son was living here, he had friends come over, so they would just stay in the caravan when they came to visit. They've got it plugged in.
Helen rang a council. Excuse the pointing, people.
Anonymous phone call?
Anonymous phone calls, and they couldn't decide who they needed to talk to. I mean, that shows the ineptitude of the councils. Well, I don't know. What do you mean?
That's the thing. I haven't tried calling, so I wouldn't know who to ask for or what to even ask.
Well, it'll be in the planning department, I guess. But again, I've had council.
Did they get back to you? Helen said they'll they'll get back to you.
Yeah. Nasty bastard keeps his caravan plugged in to keep the fridge working.
Nudge, nudge.
Big bloody fridge. Anyways.
Yeah, that's all you have to tell them.
Yeah, it's my beer fridge. Sorry.
Yeah.
I need to have it plugged in. Yeah, so I'm more than happy when we get this display house done that we're working on. Has that been announced yet? Yeah. We're doing a Tiny Houses Australia display house, and it's not Lisa's big bugger off house. That's like tow truck territory. We're going to be working, or we are working, on the planning of a display
slow
house.
process.
Only because we've got to juggle life and bills.
Yeah, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
It's mainly just Darren. He makes all the phone calls. Don't you?
Yeah. I'm trying to get you to help.
Well, I help in my own way.
I know. So, but my point is, when we get this display house done, and we'll be hauling it around the home shows and the sustainability festivals and all that sort of stuff, then I'm more than happy to put the call out to all the planning department people of all the councils and say, hey, come and have a look at this thing, crawl all over it, tell me what are the issues that you've got with it.
Helen says 5 days and counting, so they haven't got back to her yet.
Nice.
So that's the living situation. What about
the building?
The trailers. You're going to talk about the trailers and the legal.
Well, if you look at
restrictions on the trailers.
Well, the nuts and bolts in terms of is it legal to do this in Australia? It's legal to build them. So if you can go out in the backyard and build yourself an aviary or a dog kennel,
taller than you.
I'm just slouching. Then you're allowed to build a tiny house. So you're allowed to build them. You're allowed to, obviously, we'd recommend build it so you're not blocking out the sun from the neighbours, because that'll just piss them off.
I help by not helping. No, I help by pushing. Come on.
It's not exactly the word she uses or the tone, but.
So what are you doing? It's nearly 5 o'clock.
Anyway, so you're allowed to build them. You are able to move them on Victorian roads. Now, the restrictions with Victoria, which is pretty much the same all over Australia. I was talking to a trailer manufacturer and engineer in Queensland recently. News to be announced soon, once it's all in contract form. But saying that in Queensland there might be some opportunities to go heavier than 4.5 ton, but it requires a totally different category of trailer. But then again, do people really want an 8-ton tiny house?
Don't give you a place.
I don't know. So, but what we do know around Australia is that up to 4.5 ton, you can move it anywhere in the country. The main factors is this. Let's work on this. Because we're in Australia and not every man and his dog has a big Chevy Silverado in the garage. If you aim to keep it under 3.5 ton.
We have payment plans, Leonie.
So, there you go. So we've got, what was I going to say?
I know, you're talking about trailers and the legalities of trailers, the restrictions and requirements.
Yes, so here's the thing. Most drives, and not even most, there are some four-wheel drives in this country that are legally allowed to tow 3.5 ton. So as I said to lovely lady Tanya this afternoon that I was speaking to about our trailers, as I said to Tanya, if you keep the whole thing lock, stock and barrel, trailer plus house under 3.5 ton, then you can go to budget. You don't have to own a truck. Don't buy a truck to move your tiny house unless you're going to travel the country with it. So you can go to budget and pay $150 a day and hire a double cab Hilux with a 3.5 ton tow capacity, and you can tow it. Now, because of that, unfortunately, you can't go to, possibly there might be a couple of companies, but it'd be big dollars. You can't exactly go and hire a Dodge Ram or a Chevy Silverado for the day. So,
but there's a business opportunity there if anyone's got one.
Yeah, that's it. Tiny house movers. So if you go over 3.5 ton, realistically, you're looking at a tow truck. Now, if Grant sees this from Designer Echo Tiny Homes, Grant, correct me if I'm wrong, but Grant had his 6 meter tiny house, which weighed 4 ton, and that's another issue we'll get to. He didn't want to compromise on materials. He had his trailer rated to 4.5 ton, and he did a 6 meter house with the materials that he wanted to use, and it turned out to be the whole thing 4 ton. So he needed a truck to tow it. and he towed it from Ulladulla on the south coast of New South Wales up to Canberra, to the Canberra home show, and then from there to the Sydney home show, and then from there back home again. And each trip was about $900, I think. So it does add up if you want to move it on a regular basis. What I suggested to Tanya this afternoon was to keep an eye on the builds that are happening in New Zealand, because in New Zealand, they don't have that 4.5 ton limit. They've got 3.5 ton limit. Now, this is, when we talk about weight ratings for trailer, this is the weight of the trailer itself plus whatever house you build on top. So if you've got a 3.5 ton trailer, and your trailer weighs 500 kilograms, you've got 3,000 kilograms left to build a tiny house. Now, I had a quote yesterday. Someone was after a 9-meter tiny house rated to 3.5 tons, so they could tow it with their 4-wheel drive. And I said, well, our 9-meter trailer, which is through that wall out in the back garden, weighs 1,060 kilograms before we even touch it, which means if you've got a 3.5 ton rating, you then have 2.5 ton to build a 9-meter house. And can you build a 9-meter house of any sort of structural integrity and quality with 2.5 ton? I don't know, but we're going to find out.
Leonie's asking about SIPs or SIP panels. Yeah, you can build tiny houses with SIPs. SIPs, what's it stand for?
Structurally insulated panels.
Okay. There are a few people doing it here.
There's a guy that reached out to me recently from Perth who's working on HIPs.
Made from hemp.
Which is hemp insulated.
But you probably shouldn't give that away yet, because I don't think they've announced anything.
They're going to be going into production, but they want to sort of see how we can work together. But yeah, interesting technologies coming along. Yeah. Justin, one of our trailer customers from last year, he ordered a whole lot of, not a whole lot, but he ordered
a trailer.
A trailer, yes. You got a 6-meter trailer, flat deck trailer, no wheel arches to deal with. But he was going to be building from SIPs panels, and he had ordered them from some mob in Perth, and they were being flat packed over. And so he is building here in Victoria. We need to catch up with Justin.
He did contact you, didn't he?
No, I haven't seen him since he picked up his trailer.
I thought he sent you an email or something.
Yeah, but he is wanting to move his tiny house, and that's why he got a 6-meter. I think it was rated to 3.5 ton. Can't remember. So SIPs panels are an option, but yeah, as I said to Tanya this afternoon, it depends. When people are looking at getting their trailer, they have to look at.
Can I just say something? SIPs, I've been told they weigh more, and then they don't weigh more, and they're too thick.
It's hard.
But you can get different thicknesses in the walls. But what I don't really like about them is how you've got to carve out channels and stuff to put all your electrical work.
See, what I've also heard is they're very, very strong and structurally sound. But when you start routing out channels for the pipes and the wires, you start taking away the material from the inner wall, and that's when it starts to weaken them.
And then wasn't there someone who was telling us how there's another way you can do it on the outside or the inside and then just clad over the top or something?
Well, you probably could, but you'd have to leave an air gap, which is going to eat into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's done. I just thought, it's too complicated.
Or you could do it from underneath maybe, but...
yeah, underneath I think might have been.
I mean, you could do a single-level tiny house and have a false floor and leave a sort of a 4 or 5 inch gap and run all your pipes and wiring under there, but if you're not worried about vertical height. But anyway, so yeah, weight rating, you need to look at how often do you want to move the tiny house? And secondly,
just ask us any questions, and that'll help sort of keep the conversation going and keep Darren going. And
what are you trying to say? So you have to look at how often you want to move the tiny house. If you just like us, well, like for Lisa's build, if you're just planning on moving it from build site to site A and going to plonk it there, whether it's on family land or your Uncle Bob's farm, whatever, and you've got no intention of moving it any more than you absolutely have to, then, yeah, it doesn't really matter if you go over 3.5 ton. In fact, if you're not getting it on the road at all, you can go as heavy as you like, because there's a lady that bought a trailer off our manufacturer just before he became officially our manufacturer, a lady here in Victoria, and I said to Lisa, because this was our manufacturer's first ever 9-meter build, 9-meter trailer. And I said to Lisa, I want to watch this one and see how much it weighs. And this particular lady has gone ahead and
thanks, Kat.
Built it with steps with the piping inside the walls, but it requires you to set all power points, doors, and windows before manufacture. Yeah, you need to sort of plan it out a bit more. So this lady, she got her 9-meter trailer. It was sheathed underneath with steel, which even my manufacturer was a bit puzzled with. Framed it up with 90 by 45 timber, 2 lofts, and then sheathed the entire thing, you know, like you see on YouTube, with 25mm plywood, which is about 1.5 tons in plywood alone.
So it's going to be a heavy
I'm thinking
thing.
it's going to be like 6 ton at least.
But they're not moving it from the land.
But it's on family land here in Victoria, and it's probably never going to leave family land, so therefore it's kind of irrelevant. We've got your trailer up on 6 3,000-kilogram jack stands, so you could put 18 ton on that.
Follow, is it My Empty Nest?
Which one? Michelle's? Yeah.
She's doing one on SIP panels. So she's built one that she's living in, and now she's building another one as a, I don't know if it's a display house or... She's
doing it on the cheap. She's going to do it. She wants to do it as cheap as possible.
But she's using SIP panels. So look up My Tiny Nest and follow her build.
My Empty Nest.
What did I say?
There's Tiny Nest, which is Jake and Kiva.
Tiny Nest and My Empty Nest.
Yeah. Michelle Bredson Boyle, Bredson Boyle. Michelle Bredson Boyle, who is the Michelle from the Tiny House podcast, who interviewed us a couple of months ago. Yeah. We're going to be interviewing her soon.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to get her on. We'll ask her all the hard questions.
Now that we're getting the hang of this thing, we just need to send someone a link and they can join us. Kat, you want to join us? You got your webcam on? Just say the word.
Scott Jackie asking, what's the best material you can use that is lightweight? Are you talking in terms of framing? Are you talking cladding?
In terms of framing, at the end of the day, the lightest option is going to be steel. Steel compared to a stud timber wall is apparently 30 to 40% lighter. Now, we were going to do 90 by 45 timber and compared that to, you know, for a steel frame it was 30% lighter or so. But then we thought, we'll use 70 by 35 timber, which is going to be lighter.
And thinner walls.
And still cheaper because it's timber.
Maximise the internal space.
But then several steel framing companies in Victoria have come out with 70 by 35 steel frame.
Which sold me, so that's what I'm doing.
So the issue with, and I said this afternoon to someone, the issue with building a tiny house in Australia is this constant balancing act, is this constant juggling of time versus money versus weight.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, the steel frame's going to be more, I can't remember what, around,
you're looking
it depends on the size of the trailer.
Anywhere between $2,500 to $3,500 ish, don't quote me on that, for a steel frame, versus maybe $1,800 in timber and cut, measure, saw, glue, screw, nail, measure, cut. Because you can take your trailer to a steel framing company and they'll whack it together on the factory, walls, roof, etc. And you can drive out there 3 or 4 hours later out of the factory with your skeleton.
Or what I want to do is I want them to flat pack it out to me and I want to put it together ourselves. We are thinking about running that as a workshop, because how many of you get to go and see how a steel frame is put together? We learn a lot about stud framing, and there's a few workshops out there that do that.
And we are looking at we are speaking to builders about getting workshops up and running again. And we will be doing workshops where we do work with timber frames, but we're also going to be doing workshops where we're doing sort of steel frame, barn raising type workshops. Yeah. So in terms of
it'd be nice to actually offer, if anyone has a tiny house that they want to build and they want help, to incorporate that into a workshop, because then it helps offset their materials and gets the work done faster because you've got more people working on it.
So that's one of the projects we're going to as well. We're going to be running some paid workshops on some of our builds, but
that's true.
And as Kat said, you know, whatever you lose in cost, you make up in time saved, which is true. Again, it's that time versus money thing. We are looking at running some paid workshops, possibly on the display house, possibly on parts of your build.
Not all of it, just parts. The parts where I think would be like invaluable information for people.
But what we can also do, and what we're also looking at doing, is putting on workshops. Do we want to reveal this for other people?
Okay.
So if any of you are wanting
you want to be transparent about things.
Well, we've always been transparent, and we are transparent.
I know.
So if any,
Ignore the haters.
So if any bastard out there copies this idea, you know you heard it first here. It'll be archived on YouTube. Anyway, what we're looking at doing is, and we're speaking to some builders about it at the moment, but if any of you guys out there, or if any of our followers want to get their tiny house done, but they want to get many hands involved and the guidance of an instructor and a qualified builder, we're looking at offering the service of, we help you build your tiny house via means of several workshops.
We've got a couple of people putting their hands up in New South Wales.
Not necessarily the whole thing, but even if it's just, we'll do, okay, Susie, you want to get your house done, we'll do a framing workshop where, we'll take a cut. We've got to pay the builder, obviously, but the income from the workshop sales will help offset some of the cost of your tiny house. Plus, you get it done quicker with many hands on deck.
We've got Jack, who we met. He's a builder, and we love him to bits. And he's more than happy to get the ball rolling up there. And we've spoken to a few builders here in Victoria who are happy to get the ball rolling.
Leonie's going inside. It's bloody freezing. And what are you doing? Sitting out in the yard? Is she sitting out in the yard watching?
I don't know. Maybe she can only get internet connection.
Maybe she's going to sit out in the field with a tablet or something.
I don't know.
Well, thank you, Leonie. We'll catch up soon. And make sure you get to one of our meetups. We'll have to do it. Might have to do a Horsham meetup. I don't know. Well, she said she's in Horsham.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Yes. So I have this vision of Leonie sitting out in the middle of a horse field somewhere with a tablet raised to the sky, going, "Come on, you bastard." I don't know. So where do we get to? So lightweight materials. So I would go steel frame.
I'm looking at foil board. Should I? I just did.
You did. Foil board is an insulation. It's light.
I'm going to go get it. You keep talking.
Oh. So there's certain things. What I would try and avoid, and take this the right way, and I love all the people in America that I'm connected to in the tiny house community there, but what a lot of people in Australia and New Zealand do is they look at the YouTube videos and they go, "Oh, that's how you build a tiny house. Let's go do that. Timber frame, sheathe the whole thing in plywood." And plywood is good as a bracing material, but we've had several builders over the last couple of years tell us you don't need to go 90 by 45 timber. You don't need to cover the whole place in plywood. It's extra cost, it's extra weight, and you just don't need it. As long as you use that speed bracing or the metal strapping.
And I think from memory, Ashley, who's got a tiny house here in Victoria, she braced the front and the back.
Just the end walls.
Just the ends, I believe.
To give it a bit more strength.
But she did use corrugated iron around the perimeter, so that gave enough bracing anyway.
Yeah, so it depends on what your came outside to watch, so I didn't annoy others. Good night.
So
night, Leonie. Yeah, so timber frame, you don't need to clad the thing in huge amounts of plywood, especially really thick plywood. If you're building a smaller tiny house and you want to have that extra bracing of plywood, you can, I guess. But there's
no hard and fast rules. You just got to do what's right for you within your budget and the weight restrictions that you have with your design. And what I'm doing, because I have a 9-meter trailer to build on, I've got to look at every single product that goes into it in terms of weight. I'm not too fussed about cost. Well, I am. I do have a budget, but if I go over that budget because I need to stay underweight, then so be it. And one reason I haven't started my build, I've had the trailer since September or November, and the reason why I haven't started my build is because I really wanted to research what products I was going to be putting in the build, including the sheathing under the trailer.
Which is often the first step. The first step that people need to do is sheath, because I don't recommend what they do in America, which is they get the trailer and then they cover it with a plywood floor, and then they build another floor on another wooden frame, and then they insulate that.
Unnecessary weight.
It's just ridiculous. So
we're building within the floor, within the trailer frame.
Yeah. So we need to have something to sheathe underneath the trailer, so that we can put the insulation in between the framing cross members so it doesn't fall at the bottom.
I didn't want to use, what's the tin people use? Generally?
Aluminium sheet.
The aluminium sheet, the rolled up sheets. I didn't want to use that one. I think it looks messy and it's just too finicky. I don't like it looks a bit wrinkled underneath. I just didn't want to
you're a
do that.
perfectionist.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like neat work.
Yeah, look, there's another option for those of you that have been checking out our Facebook page this afternoon. There you see Maya's trailer, which is one of our latest trailers that's rolled out of the factory. And she actually got hers sheathed. It's not something we've usually done, but we're working out a price with our manufacturer to offer it as an add-on, because some people just say, look, I don't want to do the sheathing. I'm happy to build the house, but I don't want to get underneath and drill up underneath the trailer. So
wasn't it one of our clients that suggested that's what they were going to use, the corrugated iron, and then our trailer guy said, oh, that's a good idea, and told us about it.
I believe Kim up in Mildura direction. I believe Kim was
Kim's idea.
Was using corrugated iron. Our issue is that it's
still heavy.
There's some weight involved. And with a 9 meter build, there's some weight involved.
It's okay if you're going to do 6 or 7 meters, but because I'm 9 meters, it's still too heavy for what I want to use. So
if people are building a 6 meter house or less, I would say still get your trailer rated to 4.5 ton, and then just relax and build, keep an eye on the weight, but you don't have to worry so much. I mean, as Grant said, with his 6 meter place, he didn't really focus on that too much. He just used what he wanted to use, and it still came out at 4 ton though. But we found this.
So we had an appointment to go see the guy. What was his name again? I've forgotten his name.
Nick, the national sales manager for Foil Board. Lovely guy.
And he suggested I use this.
Which is about 25 mil thick.
So this is actually a tin. It's not paper. It's aluminium.
So this is one of their products.
On both sides.
So this is one of their products. It's really, really thin aluminium. Weighs nothing, right? So
it's got foam in the middle.
Foam in the middle. This is obviously wrapped up in plastic to keep it nice and clean. But his suggestion was with the sheathing is just get sheets of this and screw it straight up through there, straight to the steel frame of the trailer, nice and neat, across the board, and it'll last for donkey's years.
And then it offers us an air gap between.
Yeah, so rather than sheathing with like a sheet of aluminium and then putting bats or whatever in between the frame,
this acts as both.
Use that and then leave an air gap between the 50 mil depth of the frame of the trailer, and then put your flooring on top, plywood, whatever you want to do. Because an air gap is insulation in itself.
So this is 25 millimeter thickness.
Yeah. Hey, Winston. Winston's just home from work. How are you, brother?
Where did you see?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Under Helen.
You didn't get to meet Winston.
Yeah. Oh, I saw him, but I was busy chatting. Yeah.
So there we go. Hey, Winston.
So 25 mil. It's tin on either side, so it acts both as sheathing and insulation. Nice and neat, durable, very lightweight.
It's not the cheapest item though. Don't quote me on prices, but it's around $50 or $60 a sheet, I believe, with the foil.
I know that Bunnings sells this type of foil board, not in all Bunnings, but some of them. Every time I went looking for it in Bunnings, I could never find it.
So this one here is for the internals, and that's 15 mil thick, and Nick says like that's all you're going to need for the internals. It's got a green side, which is what you'd be putting on the inside of the house.
Foil on both sides, but the green goes up. So if you've got the sun beating down on you, it doesn't shine back in your eyes.
Yeah, you're not trying to build the interior of your house with the sun reflecting off the silver.
Very lightweight. There's 2 thicknesses. And the guy we spoke to, Nick, said that the 15 mil is more than enough for the walls and the roof.
And that's the thing. You've got to keep in mind that we're in Australia. We're not in Colorado or Montana, where there's 8 feet of snow.
Hi, Lindy.
Hey, Lindy.
She's back.
Oh, she got home safely. That's good.
Okay.
So I'd look at, and I've even spoken to it. We met a builder, Adam, after the Melbourne Home Show.
We met a couple. There was Adam, and then there was
Adam, there was Mitch, there was his mate, the Sparky, Josh, I think. Josh, I think so. But anyway, yeah, lovely guys. And so, but I was speaking to Adam after the Home Show, and he is in Victoria, and he is looking at building a tiny house. And he's actually looking at getting rid of all the stuff that you don't need. Plywood, you don't need it. And he's actually looking at this whole idea of sheathing, and I was discussing it with him the other day, this whole idea of sheathing underneath the trailer. And his suggestion was to
trade depots. That's where I'm going wrong. Thanks.
To cut down on weight and to cut down on cost as well, because we're all on a budget. Adam suggested getting polystyrene. Or what he suggested doing was putting the floor down first, and then going up from underneath, and then getting blocks of polystyrene cut to size to fit amongst the frame of the trailer, and just liquid nails them to the underneath of the floor, because they're only light, they'll hold, and then paint the whole thing underneath with a little bitumen paint, because
or a rubber paint,
bitumen paint or a rubber paint, and that'll last probably for years. And let's face it, if when you do need to move the trailer, if bits of the polystyrene do chip away, pull it out and put another bit in. It's dirt cheap.
But then you're not getting the air gap. But is that necessary here in Australia?
Yeah, a lot of people don't have the air gap anyway. In fact, when I was at...
I just want mine nice and neat. That's why I'll give you a close-up so you can see that.
Yeah. And in fact, when I was up at an Ulladulla speaking to Grant at his workshop, I said, do you actually think that floor insulation is even required in Australia? And he said, yeah, not really, not from here, like from here up, probably not. But some sort of insulation is going to be good. We don't, as I said, we're not in Canada or Alaska.
We are putting these guys up on our website as partners. We are going to be selling it through our website.
Yeah, so we're just going through the negotiations with Foil Board, but hopefully we're going to be able to get preferential pricing. I don't know, but that's what we're pushing for. So you guys can order foil board through us, but just stay tuned for the update. So insulation.
Because they're going to be donating it to the, what do you call it? The display house.
At this point, they're looking at they're one of the partners that are looking at coming on board, but all that'll be arranged.
Did I just give away a secret?
Yeah.
Well, that's how it's done.
I know. But anyway, so we wait till agreements are signed before. Anyway.
Well, you better get onto it.
So, yes. So framing, I would go steel versus timber.
Black tack.
Insulation, look at lightweight. I mean, any insulation is pretty much going to be pretty light. But, yeah, I would look at foregoing the plywood. You don't need plywood as long as it's built structurally sound. And, in fact, a couple of our trailer customers who got the exact same, in every way, exactly the same trailer as we've got in our back garden. Oz and Baha, they've got their 9-meter trailer. They're already at lock-up stage. They're gallivanting around Europe on holiday at the moment. But over the Easter break, we went and saw their trailer, and they did a timber frame.
It was 75? 70 by 35? Or?
I think it was 90. I think it was 90 by 45. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But anyway, they did a timber frame on their steel trailer, and then they wrapped it in the...
They did do the strapping, though.
Yeah, they did do the strapping. They're working with a builder. And this is this hybrid approach. You don't need to go, right, I'm going to build the whole thing myself and just watch YouTube. Or you don't need to go to, as good as Grant is at Designer Echo Tiny Homes and some of these other tiny house builders, you don't have to go full hog and pay 80 grand for someone to build you a tiny house. Speaking
of Grant, go check out his YouTube channel. Is it under the same? No, I think it's under his name, Grant Emons.
Possibly. Just
he's talking
Designer
about
Echo Tiny Homes.
Yeah, he on YouTube. He's
a couple of videos that have come out.
Yeah, there's a couple of videos. One in particular, he was talking about the guttering system that he uses, and it's a very thin profile. So we need to talk to him about.
Which is important if you've got guttering on the sides of the house. One option in terms of space saving is to have the guttering, if you want to collect your own rainwater, is have the guttering on the ends of the house, which means it doesn't impinge on your width.
But I like you've got to look at it. You've got to watch it.
But what I was saying with Oz and Baha, they did the wooden frame. They wrapped it up. They did the steel strapping. They wrapped it up in the Tyvek or whatever it's called. You know, the weather wrap.
Are you guys still there?
Yeah, there was 10 of them.
Yeah, but
and then they put the cladding on. I think they did some battens to leave a bit of an air gap, and then they put the cladding on, which they used WeatherTex, which is one of the products that we were looking at. I was looking at
WeatherTex. I thought thin profile. I've read that it's lightweight. It's a natural product. It's an eco product.
And yet,
but when we spoke to Oz, he said it was no.
He said he wouldn't use it again. He said it's expensive and it's heavy and it's awkward to use. So
I can't do the thumbs up. That's better.
Good.
That's my thumbs up.
Did you get your gammy thumb?
Yeah, I got him.
That's all right.
Fuck knuckle.
I'm not giving up on you yet. Does everyone know about your condition?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got a condition.
Yeah.
It's called Darren.
Anyway, so yeah, framing, timber, steel versus timber. Don't worry about the plywood. Make sure you use the steel strapping. But what I was saying is, yeah, you work with a builder. It's a hybrid approach. You can do as much as you can yourself, but get a builder who knows what they're doing and is happy to work on an hourly basis and says, you know what, I'll come in a couple of days here and there, a few hours here and there to give you a hand with the roof or the hard bits. Make sure you're not going to cock it up.
Workshop.
Or do it via a workshop. So
yeah, if any of you want to do a workshop, don't hesitate to ask. We'll get a builder. We'll organise it all, put it out there in the group, get it going for you guys. Like, happy to do that.
And another initiative that we're wanting to do, and all this is requiring is for one of you to stick your hand up. I'm serious. Is we're happy to organise a working bee. Now, the difference between our paid workshops and working bees is we've discussed this. Workshop is going to be a paid instructor. So it's going to be a paid event where we organise it and be a Tiny Houses Australia paid workshop on Susie's build or whoever it is. And it'll be a paid event because we need to cover the cost of
the builder,
our time to put it together, the builder time for travel and supervising everyone, and also money to go back to the person who's built it is to help cover the cost of the materials. But a working bee is different. With a working bee, if any of you are building your tiny house and you just want some hands to give you a hand, if you want a working bee.
Beck's World Freedom, seriously, when Darren organised some workshops here in Victoria, we had people flying over from Perth.
Yeah.
So people will travel far and wide to come and do a hands-on workshop.
Yeah. So workshops are going to be coming, but that requires getting builders that we can trust, that are ethical and professional, that we can work with, and that are not going to rip people off and know what the hell they're doing and they're professional. However, what I was going to say was, if you guys are building your tiny house and you're getting stuck, or you kind of know what you're doing, but you just want some more hands on deck, one option is for us, we're wanting to launch Tiny Houses Australia Working Bees. So a working bee would be free. You just tell us how many people you want to come and give you a hand, and we can promote it, and we'll get you the numbers that you need wherever in Australia you are. It won't be a paid event. It will be free. Why? Because there's not going to be, it'll just be
a working
6 or 8 people turning up to your site.
No instructor.
There won't be an instructor, so you need to provide the instructor, or if you've got a dad or an uncle who's helping you and you just want some hands on deck, then let us know. We'll promote it, and we'll say, look, Susie is in Adelaide and she's building a house. She wants 8 people next weekend to give her a hand. And we'll all promote it, and we'll get them people's names, and we'll message them privately, the address, whatever. And it'll just be an opportunity for you to get more hands on deck. So if any of you are building a tiny house and you'd like that idea, let us know.
Winston's asking if anyone's building an aluminium frame. I know my father wants me to build an aluminium frame. I don't know the first thing about welding.
Someone actually inquired a few months ago about an aluminium trailer. He said, can you do, and he spotted something in France that was done with an aluminium trailer. And he said, what about an aluminium trailer? Can you do it? And I asked my trailer guy, and Sean said, look, I'm never going to touch aluminium. He said, it's really expensive. It's hard. It's bloody hard to work with. And it's, in his opinion, it's just not as good as steel. So it's expensive, more time consuming. You need higher end equipment to do it. And we're trying to keep the price of our trailers down. You know, we're not the cheapest. We don't do cheap and nasty trailers, but we want to keep the price reasonable. And as I was saying to someone today, the only thing that I would always recommend is, and this is just regardless of whether you get your trailer from us or anyone else, if you're looking at building a tiny house, I would buy a brand new trailer, and unless you know what you're doing. If you're an engineer and you know exactly what's required to build a trailer, then build your own trailer. But if you have to ask questions about building your own trailer, then don't do it.
It's probably not worth it. It's the foundation of your home.
Yeah.
Don't skimp on the foundation. That's all.
And if you are looking at buying a trailer, whether it's from us or anyone else, ask the questions. So how many tiny house specific trailers have you done, or has your manufacturer done? Can I be put in touch with some of your clients? Can I speak to your clients about your trailers to see if they're happy with them? Have you got testimonials? Have you got
their photos?
Is there any photos or videos of the trailers that you've done? We've got about 80 or 90 photos of our trailers that have gone out. So do your due diligence. As I said, whether you get them from us, whether you get them from anywhere else, I just want to make sure you guys get quality trailers.
At Cart, the nasty bastard saying aluminium over steel costs 30% more.
Yeah, so it's more expensive.
I know how to cut and saw wood. I know how to measure and cut, that kind of thing. But when it comes to aluminium framing, I haven't got the foggiest clue. So as much as my dad's disappointed, hey, Dad, come and make it for me. But he's not a welder either. So
no, that's it. Helen's saying, what about for the house framing? Yeah, look, with house framing, again, I would say if you're going 6 meters or less, I would say get a quality 4.5 ton trailer or 4.2 ton rated trailer, and then use 70 by 35 timber and do the steel strapping. Don't worry about the plywood, and just use the get the bracing from the speed bracing and the internal and external cladding. But if you're going 8-9 meters, then I would go steel, and I would look at every possible thing that you can forego, and look at thin everything. But as I said to Tanya this afternoon, for those of you that are looking at going at a large tiny house and you want to think, well, how can I save weight? I would follow as many of the tiny house builds as you can in New Zealand. Even join some of the tiny house groups. Don't leave our group, stay in our group, but join one of the New Zealand groups as well, and ask for some tips in there, because in New Zealand, they've got to keep their tiny houses under 3.5.
Okay, so aluminium isn't as strong, and that's what Sean was saying as well. It's not as strong structurally, especially for the foundation of your home. So.
That's it. And this is the thing. An aluminium trailer might be fine if you want to build like a teardrop camper, or if you want to have a trailer where you're moving a car, if you get a car transport business, you want to move a couple of cars around. But as I've always said, a trailer that's designed to put a couple of station wagons on, drive across town and unload, is a totally different kettle of fish to something that's going to have a 4-ton house permanently bolted to it for the next 20 years. And something that's potentially going to have 6, 7, 8 ton of weight sitting on it.
Yeah. We're going to know more once we start building ourselves. This is just what we've learnt from talking to people, businesses, what other people are doing, and just what people are learning in the group. So.
And this is part of the reason why we want to go out and interview people for our YouTube channel. So if any of you are watching and you're in, let's say Victoria, firstly, let's spread out, we'll walk before we can run. If you're in Victoria and you're building your tiny house, we'd love to come out, and whether you're halfway through, just starting, finished, been in it for 2 years, whatever, we'd love to come out and interview for our YouTube channel and talk about what you've learned, what worked for you, what didn't work. It doesn't have to be on a trailer. I don't care if you're living in a renovated, beautiful vintage caravan, you'd love to come out and see it. So we are going to be interviewing people, and especially with our trailer customers, one of the things we want to do is we're going to go out and interview our trailer customers, ideally when they're kind of just started, to say, right, this is the beginning. What's the adventure? What's the vision? And what do you want it to become? And then go out again once they're finished to do the nice glitzy show off your tiny house.
2 things. So Cart's saying, don't forget, if you need a strong part of your frame to hold a loft, you can double up the frame members or put larger 90 over 70 millimeter in that section.
And in fact,
however, for me, because I'm going for stand-up height, I need to find something strong and still thin enough to sort of keep that internal vertical space for my height.
Well, I know that I would check out what Stefan has done. Stefan Cook from a biggish tiny house in New Zealand on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
His Facebook page is A Big-ish Tiny House. He did an 8-meter long tiny house out of earthquake rubble. You still had to pay for it, but he got it on the cheap. But I believe his frame was 1-inch tubular steel that was welded. So it was all one welded up skeleton that he built on. Even his stairs were 1-inch tubular steel welded.
But yeah, their name here in Victoria, they did still. What's the face expression for?
I don't know who you're talking about, to be honest.
Okay.
But yeah, for those of you that have been following our YouTube channel, check out the video that we did from the Tall Tiny with Murray. That's one of the things we want to do with our trailer customers. We want to go out and see people when they're sort of halfway through construction. This is what we're at so far. What's the grand plan? Where are you going to put things? We've got to go out and arrange another interview with Murray because he's not only finished his tiny house, but he's been living in it for 8 months. So we want to do an interview with our trailer customers when they start, when they're finished, show us your tiny house. And then also I want to go back and revisit people sort of a year later and see if they actually regret the whole bloody thing.
Scott's asking, please talk about solar panels. Have you found any good ones?
Solar panels, I must admit, is something that we've got to get our heads around as well. There are companies out there that will happily sell you a $30,000 solar system. Whether you need that or not is debatable.
We did speak to someone at the Melbourne Home Show. We do have his number. We are going to get in touch with him and talk about
We've got
pricing.
like a show bag like that thick of brochures and contacts from the home show.
And we also know someone who's a member in our group who that's what he does.
Yeah, so check
solar
out
panels.
Mike Hayden from 24hoursolar.com or .com.au. 24-hour solar. Mike Hayden. Mike is a very informed about what to do about the solar system.
It's what he does.
Yeah. So shout out to Mike there. But yeah,
he's putting together.
He is putting together some packages, and we're looking at working together with him on how we can. He's looking. Last time I spoke to him, he's working on some small, medium, and large tiny house solar packages. I'm not sure of the price points yet, but I'll speak to him.
So he's going to be another partner that's going to be listed on our website.
Hopefully. So, but look, as I said, we've seen solar systems from $10, $15, $20,000.
But they're marketed to normal sized houses that are.
Yeah. I know the Tesla Powerwall 2 is coming out very shortly, and I know that is apparently going to be suitable for off-grid. I don't know how much that's going to be. It's probably going to be ridiculously expensive. But also there was a company that we saw on Gumtree actually at a Shepparton, your hometown, which had a complete off-grid system for like $6,000. So I'm not sure what that can or can't run. I'm not sure, but I would look at using everything you can, not solar, as in if you can find a cool modern sort of wood stove, that would solve your heating and possibly your cooking options.
Yeah, someone was saying in the group though
that what you want to
they don't want a wood fire heater because of the smoke and just the smell of the smoke and the soot and the.
There's there's a couple of companies that that we're speaking to offshore that have really small wood stoves, because Grant's video actually of the last couple of days talking about his wood stove. He uses a particular model, and in that video he even says this is the smallest one we can find in the country, and we've seen that, and it's actually quite big. So there's a couple of companies in America that we're going to be talking with about whether we can get them in.
A couple in America, there's a couple in the UK.
Yeah, and possibly one in New Zealand maybe, but we'll look at that.
It's a matter of trying to keep the prices as low as we can for Australians, because as you know, having them imported. And
the fact is in Australia, we don't need to devote a square metre of space for a wood stove where realistically you're only going to use it for 3 months of the year. And the rest of the time you're going to be tripping over the bloody thing. Those Kimberley stoves are really nice. Cylindricals, chrome-looking, sexy ones, but they're about $5,000.
What, the Dickens?
No, the Kimberley ones, those tall, cylindrical, chrome-looking, sexy things. But I heard that they're about $5,000 to get them into Australia.
I liked the other ones that are made of clay. They're wood-fired.
Yeah.
And painted a nice, pretty green.
True.
What ones are those?
And Beck's World Freedom, yes, we are wanting to do some sort of deal with a company overseas. And look, it's a global economy now, you guys. If we need to source these things from overseas, we will.
Yeah, we won't be ordering them in unless we can get a decent number of
we
orders.
We need to work out what the price per unit's going to be, and to be honest, we're going to be we'll work out what the price will be for what product, and we'll be going out to you guys and say, we can get this price, but we need to get a minimum of 20 orders, and you guys are going to need to prepay. So we've got the money sitting there, so we can then say, right, let's order it. That's the least risk for you, least risk for us. And that way, if we don't get the minimum order, we can just refund the money. And that's what we'll be doing with several of the products that we're looking at sourcing from overseas.
Hopefully we can get some sort of tiny house product thing going here.
We are going to have a store on the website, as some of you have heard. We're going to have context for, for the bigger things like wood stoves, trailers, wood stoves, down to, coffee mugs and Frisbees. I want my Frisbees. They're good. We're getting Frisbees. So, do we get stress balls? You need a stress ball.
I think you need it.
Yeah, living with you, I do. Anyway, so chimeneas, Beck says. Yeah, chimeneas. Some of these wood generating, these wood powered things are really only designed for outdoor use. I know that I'm going to connect up with Kerry Dorborn. Shout out to Kerry if you're watching, because Kerry's got one of these Echo Zoom stoves, which is a little wood stove thing, and I think she uses it indoors. I'm not sure if they're designed for indoors or outdoors.
Someone was asking in the group, because I don't want a wood fire heater.
Yeah.
Do you know of a product or a brand of heaters that are small enough and that can run on solar?
Not sure. We might have to speak to Mike about what.
I know Ian in the group answered the question. He mentioned a product, but I hadn't heard of it before.
Kurt just says he's going to steal a Tesla and use. Oh no, he's not going to steal a Tesla. He's going to find a Tesla car battery and do a system like Life Inside a Box.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah. I remember watching a video of theirs last year, and he said that they were waiting for the Tesla to come in. So whether their order fell through or they changed their mind or not, or if it was just this system that they did do that they were talking about, I'm not sure.
Would you like some more Heathcote Uncle Fred Cabernet Sauvignon?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. You probably only need a little bit.
What are you trying to say? Anyway.
So I got a Frisbee Big Beer coaster.
Well, you got to have multifunctionality, and I'll be back in a bit.
Where are you going?
I'm going to get the thing.
What thing's that?
For example,
you've already spoke about those.
I know these slinky sofa tables, right? Which are very cool for your sofa. We just got that off the sofa, hence the name. But you put it on the bed, and it becomes a very stable table. On the couch. A stable table on the. That's another brand name. On the couch or the bed, but you flip it over, mouse pad. So yeah,
works well on the bed as well. You can put your drink on the bed while you're reading a magazine. So.
Meanwhile, Leonie's thinking, where is it? Yeah, we haven't sent it yet because we're slack. Leonie, forgive us, we'll send it to you.
I did say let's do it today.
So yeah, multifunctionality. You got to have.
Yeah, cooling. That's an I mean, a lot of people are putting ceiling fans in just for the circulation.
Look, ceiling fans, I think it's a matter of having good ventilation. Not like Chris at Tiny Aussie Homes in the Gold Coast.
What's he got?
He's got he's got a big box. He lives in a big beer box. He's got one door and 2 windows. Chris, if you see this, or Dave, as he's now known on Facebook. I still don't know. I've known the guy for
he said he was going to join us.
I've known the guy for 4 years. I've still never met the guy, and I don't know what his name is.
You pop that over.
It started off as Christopher Lamb, but now it's Dave. So who knows? But Dave, if you watch this and you dispute my findings that you've got 1 door and 2 windows, then do a video tour and.
Well, he said he was going to do a video tour for us this week because we're going to get him on and talk. Because Russ, one of our friends / members, followers. Good friends of ours, he said to Dave, that he's arguably one of the first or the first tiny house here in Australia.
Yeah, when I first started the Tiny Houses Australia community. Chris was the only person that I knew of in the country building a tiny house, and he just purchased his trailer, and he was underway with his trailer. And he said to me in the early days, there's one lady that I came across in the bush out in the Gold Coast somewhere who doesn't want to be known, wants to be totally anonymous. So
she's since sold that one, hasn't she?
I don't know. I've never heard any more about it, but that was where it's at. But speaking of interviews, I was chatting to B.A. Norgard, Beth Ann Norgard from A Bed Above My Head, and she has agreed to do an interview with us.
Hi, Beth. She friended me today.
Oh, good. Not only that, but she's going to join us for Friday Night Drinks in a couple of weeks. But, of course, she's in the USA.
Yeah. Oh.
And 8 p.m. on a Friday night, it's like 5 in the morning. So she's
willing to get up and
so her and her husband John are going to join us at like 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe with a glass of wine.
We have spoken to Derek from Life Inside a Box. Derek and Hannah, hello if you're watching.
Yeah, so we're going to be interviewing them.
They have agreed to do an interview with us, and
look, it's going to be for anyone in the States.
We now have the microphone sorted out.
It looks like a space toy, doesn't it? So at least we know the video is good. The audio is good. The video.
Yeah. The other thing is we're not sure how it's going to come across. Via satellite interviewing people.
It depends,
the ocean.
Well, but then again, they're in America, so they've probably got bloody brilliant internet.
Well, maybe it'll work fine.
So it is going to be a big ask to get an interview for Friday Night Drinks live from someone in the States, because that is seriously like 5 o'clock in the morning.
But in saying that, I'm flexible, you're flexible, and it's just a matter of letting people know, look, we're going to change the time this week or in the following whatever date, because we're going to be interviewing this person.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments, is there any particular people in the tiny house community that you would like us to interview? Because
it's a Dalek for me.
I know. Because to be quite honest, I could probably make it happen. Ken Griswold said he could put me in touch with anyone I want pretty much. So
ooh, la-di-da.
No, it's not like that, but I know a lot of people.
Yeah, we thought about pre-recording it.
Yeah, we could pre-record it. Look,
I mean, that was the original intention, but then we discovered this whole live thing.
Yeah. Look,
and I think, sorry.
I mean, I was going to say, I've chatted to...
No, sorry, I was talking.
Oh.
That's good.
You guys are getting an insight to how actually, they're not have any idea how our relationship is really like.
He talks a lot. I've got to interrupt if I want to get a say in.
You go. What are you going to say?
I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm like a fish. 3 seconds and it's gone.
Yeah. So with interviews, let us know if there's any people that you particularly want us to interview. Derek Diedrichson from Relaxed Shacks, just let us know. We'll organise the time. I've spoken to Zach Giffen from Tiny House Nation. He's happy for an interview to do what he can to help us out.
So I was just going to say, it's come back to me now.
Oh, better catch it while we can.
Oh, look, a castle.
Look, a squirrel. Oh.
That's me, Kat. Yeah, brain fog, brain farts.
It's gone again, hasn't it?
No. With interviews with these guests, would it be better pre-recording so we're not waffling on like we are now? Or would it be good to be live so that other people can interact? What do you think?
Oh, thanks, Helen. We like the bit of a live thing as well. Look, I'm happy to do a live thing because the advantage of live is that she can't swear at me or hit me, but also the other advantage is that you don't have to worry about any editing. It's like, for better or for worse, it's done, it's up, there it is. We don't have to worry about editing it.
I have to say though, it's like a 5 to 10 second delay from the moment we say something to their comments. So I might be confusing some comments with what we're saying currently.
Yeah, because we've got the TV behind the laptop, so because we haven't worked out how to actually do the live thing and see your comments on the same computer. So we've got my laptop here, her laptop there, and the TV behind. So we've got the TV connected up to her laptop, so we can just have a casual glance up and see people's comments.
I'm looking all over the place. So is there anything else you guys want to know? I'm just looking at the time.
We did it again. It's gone past half an hour.
It's all right. I think an hour is a good time.
Yeah, an hour-ish. But yeah, so if there's anyone that you want us to interview, let us know, because we're going to make it happen. We're going to interview Derek and Hannah from Life Inside a Box and High Carb Hannah. They both got channel. Deke from Relax Shacks, Zach Giffen from Tiny House Nation. Macy, whether you know it or not, we're going to interview you as well. We're going to corner Bryce at some point, wherever he is, gallivanting.
I think he's over in America at the moment.
Yeah, he's making too much money gallivanting around the bloody world. So we're going to, wherever you are, Bryce, we're going to corner you in for an interview at some point. Who else? Dan Paquette from Tiny House Customs. We want to interview him.
Lick your lips.
Lick my lips.
Lick.
What's wrong with my lips?
Just got the red wine lip going on.
They make me feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're all right. They probably can't tell.
Who agrees with it? Lindy Lee agrees with Helen. We like the introduction. Well, this is us. And this is part of the reason we wanted to do this, because there's all these...
Interview Peanut.
Yeah, we need to do that. So this is what part of the reason why I seriously wanted to do this, because there's all these, to be honest, there's this bullshit rumors that are flying around about us. And at the end of the day, this is us. Look, the people that have come to our meetups, they know who we are and what we're about. Our trailer customers have met us, and hopefully these weekly sessions of quite possibly rubbish, general chit chat will help you get to know us and our intentions and the sort of people we are. So
I think it's just jealousy and the tall poppy syndrome, honey. I wouldn't, says me, worry about it. But
and that's the thing. Like the only.
Do we need to go into this?
No. Okay. Fine.
Thank you. I'd rather not.
Who's your top 3 wish list of who would you love to get? Oh my God, love to get an interview with.
George Clark.
You want me to leave you, don't you?
George Clark.
She goes weak at the knees over. Yeah, George, I like you as well, but she goes weak at the knees over you. For Christ's sake.
Derek and Hannah, for sure. Not sure who the third person would be.
Dan.
Yeah, Dan or Deke or Andrew and Gabriella or...
Yeah, Andrew and Gabriella, they've already semi-agreed to an interview. So, yeah, Andrew and Gabriella.
There's a lot of people I'd love to sort of chat more with. And
Michelle Boyle from the Tiny Podcast and My Empty Nest, we're going to be interviewing her as well, whether she knows it or not.
Only 11 views at the moment. It'll pick up. This is the second one that we've done. So
at least the first one was sitting around about 7 or 8. Now we're up to about 10 or 11.
With Facebook Live, we get a lot more jumping on board, but I think that's just because of the following Darren does have on Facebook.
We have.
It's your baby. You grew and developed it, and then I came along. But I just jumped in. Slotted right in. You
did. But when you came on board, the group was about 2,500 people strong. Now we're at 10,000. So it's your group as well. And the page, I think, was about, you said about 15,000
Yeah, I think it
likes.
was about 15,000.
And now we're 43.5 or more than that. We're going to hit 44 soon.
And with YouTube, we thought we'd jump on and do these live feeds through YouTube just because we want to develop and grow the YouTube channel.
Laugh at the rumours. Yeah, thanks, Lindy. I mean,
some of them are laughable, but others just really just plays with my mind.
It affects Lisa more than me. I sort of don't give a shit, to be honest. And take this the right way, you guys, but I couldn't care less if 1,000 of you guys left the group tomorrow. I'm not overly worried about the numbers of the group. I'm about having a group with quality and integrity. We're transparent. Yes, there are some business aspects to what we do. Yeah, we sell trailers. We're not going to spend all that time and effort with the quotes and the phone calls and the emails for nothing. And, do we make money out of the trailers? A bit, Are we going to make money out of the frisbees? I bloody hope so. But
that's why someone said, when people are talking about the cost of tiny houses, if you're looking at buying a tiny house that's fully completed and
turnkey,
$65,000, and people go, oh, that's a bit much.
Oh, they're just in it for the profit. you know.
And you said you commented on one of them. Well, I hope they're bloody well making a profit.
Said, are they making a profit? I can hope so. Otherwise, what the hell are they doing?
What's the point of having a business?
They should not be in business. Now, there's a difference between.
Thanks, Scott. Hope we could help you with some of your questions.
Cheers, Scott. Yeah. So, Scott's coming back next week.
Oh, cool.
That's a good sign.
All right. See you, Scott.
Yeah. So if people are going to be in business, they need to. There's a difference between being in business and making a fair and reasonable profit, or a good healthy profit, and ripping people off. You know, and there's things that we certainly will charge for, and there's
we're not going to charge for free advice. That's for sure.
We're not going to do.
We're not going to have a workshop and charge $65 for
to
information.
Talk about trailers.
No,
we don't do that.
You're getting that free here. We can.
If you want
any questions you want to know, and we can answer, that's free.
Yeah.
There's no point in charging $65. I can't believe that. It does my head in. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Anyway. Or $500 for a SketchUp workshop, and you've got to bring your own lunch. Yeah. Anyway, so it's somewhat all about the money, but look, we're not going to deny it. There is some business aspects to what we are planning and what we are doing, but this is free. Do we get paid for this? No. Are we going to get paid on Sunday when we do a 200-kilometre round trip to Pascoe Vale to do our meetup? No.
I'm looking. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to. Always look forward to the meetups, but we've got in June. One in Bendigo, so it's our first one out of the city.
There's about 18 going as well. I think there's.
It's going to be a big one.
Hopefully, so it'll be interesting who we meet.
Can I tell them about the seminars?
No.
Why?
Oh, okay, hiccups. What seminars?
Friday night drinks, and you got the hiccups.
What seminars? He asks.
Well, whenever we do these meetups, we get a lot of people who. I mean, they find it very informative. Everyone gets to ask questions, and we get to answer there.
What we've found is a lot of people come once or twice, and then they don't come again because they kind of come, ask all the questions, and
that's
then
they need to know.
Bugger off.
But no, that's not what my point is. A lot of them are like wanting more information. They're hungry for more information.
Yeah.
And there's only so much that Darren and I can give, especially when we've got 20 people surrounding us.
We're going to mingle over lunch, yeah.
Even though we're going to continue the meetups, an informal meetup, we're looking at doing more seminar-based or information sessions.
Yeah, and they'll be paid. I mean, there'll be a nominal fee just because we're going to cover our time and a venue hire and costs to pay the speakers to come out.
Guest speakers. So, the idea is to get some guest speakers to come along who can answer those questions that we can't.
Yeah, about solar. I mean, I can answer the questions about our trailers and
we'll
things.
Get Mike along, or we'll get whoever to come along, depending on what topics we're going to cover at any given seminar.
Yeah, so it'll be something, someone relating to solar. It might be a general seminar where we have speakers on a number of topics. It might just be a come along and a nominal fee and find out about trailer. Hang on, we weren't going to do that. Anyway, you know what I mean, on a particular topic.
But that's with an expert.
Yeah.
If someone is going to come along, I don't think we even need to worry about the trailers. But that was just an example.
Yeah. If you're an expert, then it costs money to get you to speak. You know, so anyway. But, so...
Anyway, you're getting an insight to what our future plans are. There's a lot of things between the website and the page and the group and the meetups, and then all these home shows and key speaking events that we've been doing.
We've already pre-sold a Frisbee. Nasty bastard wants a Frisbee.
A lot of info in build specific. You can only give general info to groups.
Yeah, so that's why, and this is the thing,
we want to get qualified builders to come in and answer those hard questions.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I'm not saying I'm a master trailer expert. I'm a trailer builder and I've been designing and building trailers. No, I haven't. We don't touch the trailers. We've got a manufacturer who we trust and rely on, who knows his shit and who does trailers and have been doing trailers for years. There are people in the community that
say that
are making themselves out to be what they're not. And if they're that good, then where's all your testimonials?
Where's
I
your
know we've
photos?
been saying we get our testimonials,
Yeah,
but where's all the photos and videos of all these trailers that are going out now? And there's people that are saying, "Oh, we build trailer." No,
you don't.
You're not.
You've got a manufacturer that does.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I've had all sorts of. I had one I heard of one guy that was quoting for the same size trailer as us, you know, $5,000 or $6,000 more. So it's just ridiculous. Some people are out there ripping people off. So it's like anything, you get what you pay for. But yeah, we're going to head.
Thanks, Helen. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Helen. We'll speak to you guys soon. In regards to Winston, if he's still there, he's probably gone to bed.
We are going to, that might have been Winston.
No, that was Helen. Anyway.
Yeah, but he was using her account.
I don't know. Helen was there first and then Winston joined. Anyway, doesn't matter. Good night, all. But yeah, so when we do these seminars, in terms of because I know there is going to be structural related questions on the building side of things, we are going to get a builder or a carpenter in there who can answer such questions. Because if any of you have known us, what we hope that you get from us is that if we know something, we're going to tell you. If we don't, then
one was $13,000 delivery costs.
What, trailer plus $13,000? That's bullshit. And that's the thing. And this
it surely means the whole thing.
And this is why we are looking at, as much as we love our trailer manufacturer here in Melbourne, we're getting inquiries from all over the country. And so we're in the process of reaching out to trailer manufacturers in other states. We want to have one company in each state.
Yep. So we can provide trailers to.
Because no one's going to pay $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a trailer out of Melbourne and then pay another $6,000 or $7,000 to put it on a truck to take it to Perth.
Yeah.
So initially we're reaching out to trailer manufacturers in Queensland. We're going to have one manufacturer that we deal with only and exclusively to do our tiny houses Australia trailers. We're speaking to a couple. Nothing's been announced yet. We're going to make sure we get something in writing and an agreement nutted out before we do.
So these are all the little... I mean,
it's the background stuff that people don't realise that we do.
You've made about 5 or 10 phone calls just this afternoon. So some of them are from a legal standpoint. As well.
Oh, yeah, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So, it's things that we have to do, but that's all right. So there we go. So lots of things. Hopefully that's been of interest to you guys for another Friday night. It's about 10 minutes shorter than last time, about an hour and 23.
We are going to try and keep it short, try and at least aim for an hour.
Aim for an hour, but then, hey, if you guys are happy to hang around and have a yak, we're happy to hang around. We've got nowhere to do.
But we've got to keep in mind that this is going to stay up on YouTube, and I don't think people are going to hang around for over an hour to watch a YouTube thing.
That's all right. They'll watch what they want to watch.
They can just skip ahead.
At least last week I had my kids there. We got the house to ourselves.
My son and his girlfriend moved out last weekend. Yeah, I'm a bit sad.
Yeah,
used to having him around, but anyway,
you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So so as always, let us know. All these comments are going to disappear as soon as we go end, but if you've got some thoughts on what you want to talk about next week, let us know. As I said, over the next couple of weeks, we are going to get Beth and Norgard and her husband John from a bed above my head to get up at some ungodly hour on the stage. She said, "Yeah, I'm game, no problem. Just give us a couple of weeks because we're about to be moving."
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So Dave was going to do a walkthrough video of his house, like pre-record that, and I don't know how we're going to
but what I was going to say was, if any of you guys are in Australia, because time zones are a lot kinder, anyway, if any of you guys are in Australia and want to join us to have a chat, or if you're in a tiny house and you want to do a bit of a hookup so people can see us talking to you from your tiny house, let us know, even if it's just you jumping in for 10 minutes.
Next party.
Even if it's you guys just wanting to jump in for 10 minutes to say, "Hey, this is me, I'm Susie, this is and walk around with your laptop in your tiny house, that would be cool. So it'd be nice to put some faces to names, which is the whole reason.
We want to keep this casual and fun and interactive as we can.
You can't get more casual than this. Whether it's fun, that's only something that they can establish. But
still want the information to flow, but
and that's the thing. If we know the information, we'll give it to you. We'll tell you. But if there's something that we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know, and we'll look into it for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, let's get rid of these guys, and we'll go do something else. Yeah.
Like my macrame.
Yeah, which you can see.
Not really.
Over there.
Not really.
The thing there is a
Lampshade
that she's working on, which is it's very crafty. I'm yet to get the whole macrame thing. I like some of the macrame things you do, but anyway. So this has been us,
and this has been another video.
Yeah, and thank you for putting up with us. And yeah, if you got any questions or feedback, let us know. As I said, if you want to see more of whatever this is, and we'll catch you next week for episode 3. This might take off.
Or it might fizzle.
Might die in the arse as well. But anyway. All right. Thank you for your support, you guys. Everyone's gone. There's only 5 of you left. Anyway.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks, Eddie. All right. Love you.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.